Hi, my name is John Paul and I come your way again. Don't forget, I'm not a pope, even though I love to help you cope by instilling in you some hope. Well, today, I want you to know that you are dope. Thanks for tuning in again and watching. Right, so we are here having to look at the concluding part of personality disorders, and then we are shining the light on the cluster C personality, that is the avoidance, the dependent, and then the obsessive compulsive personality disorders. These are the last three personality disorders that we are going to look at under the cluster C personality in the personality development series. So hey, stay tuned. Alright, so let's jump right into it. So generally, the cluster C individuals are people who come across as very anxious and put up very fearful thinking and behavior. They seem very skittish, very nervous most of the times in most situations. Like I said earlier, we have the avoidant, we have the dependent, and the obsessive compulsive personality disorders. Right into the avoidance personality disorders. Right, so these are individuals, wherever you find them, they are very sensitive and do not take in criticism in so well. You dare not criticize someone who has the avoidance personality disorder, at least you become an enemy of theirs. They are people who do not like to have, should I say, they don't want to have any kind of qualms with anyone. So, I mean, just relate with them on a normal level without criticizing them. All right, also, there are people who do not want to have a lot to do with interpersonal relationships. So particularly in their workplaces, they do not want to be involved in work that allows them to come into contact with people all of the times, right? Of course, they are avoidant personality folks, so they want to just shun away from the company of people and just be in their little corner. Also, these people feel very unattractive, and then they like to they are the folks, if you have friends who will tell you, do you think I'm beautiful? Don't tell me I'm beautiful. I mean, why are you trying to flatter me? I mean, they feel very inferior and they are not going to take anything that comes about like a flatter. And these people are very socially inhibited. They do not want to take on new ventures. Meeting strangers or going to new places, engaging in new adventure are things that they very much so abhor. They don't want to get close to such situations where they will be exposed to new situations. They are not going to like you for it. So they are people who very much would like things explained to them from the very scratch. So these are people who don't want to hear the mantra that there is light at the end of the tunnel. They want to see the light before they begin the journey. If you have some friends who have extreme shyness in social settings, I mean, they very much so, they want to be appraising you at the corner of their eyes when they are walking in public, or I mean, they don't want to look in your eyes directly. These people, you should be very certain that they are individuals who have the avoidance personality disorder. If there are people who are so scared of being ridiculed, I mean, the fear of rejection or the fear of being put in the presence of the public eye without them getting what they want out of their being there, what is these individuals are people living with the avoidance personality disorder. Right, so the next personality disorder under the umbrella of cluster C is the dependent personality disorder. So like the name, these are individuals who excessively depend on others and are very much inclined to be taken care of. Virtually, we're not talking about babies. If anyone needs taking care of, these are babies or those who need taking care of. But for those in this kind of situation, they depend on others, even for what they eat, even for what they wear. Sometimes when you're in a relationship with them, you find out that it is becoming a little bit daunting because virtually everything has been laid at your feet to be the one to take the first move. Also, they are very submissive and clingy. Why wouldn't they be? If they depend on you for everything, one thing they have to also live by or live with is the submission and clinginess. Right, so sometimes you find out that people who have the dependent personality disorders, right, so I mean they just go by anything that you tell them, and just because they don't want to lose you, there's the benefit they get in. Why would they want to trouble you? So they are so submissive and as well very clingy. Also, These people live with a fear of having to provide or even giving out self-care to themselves. In fact, they want to be cared for in every area. So they live with a fear of having to provide for those, even self-care for those around them, because they are dependent on you for the self-care. Once they find out that you are wanting to or deciding to depend on them for some kind of emotional support or anything that makes you go through life normally, they shun away from you. They are dependent personality, so they want to get everything from you, but not vice versa. So they live with a fear of having to provide even for themselves sometimes, and as well emotional support for those who surround them. So watch out for these kind of people. If you're in a relationship with them, it's maybe one way, you're the one giving the support, the emotional support oftentimes. Again, these people lack self-confidence and require constant reassurance in life, even in making the basic or even the smallest decisions in life, like where must we go, like what must we eat, like where must I go to church, whom should I date. They need constant reassurance, and they need someone patting them at the back. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Even in the most basic of things, that is what they come across as the reason they are dependent. A lack of confidence, and they need you to tell them oftentimes, yes, you can do it. Yes, you can do it, before they even take the very first step in achieving a very important feat in their lives. You may have come across individuals who find it extremely difficult disagreeing with you, even in things that you may be sure that may not be the right way to go. They just go like, okay, they just go like, let's do that. They are dependent on you to lead the way. They are not natural leaders for people with the dependent personality disorders, right? So they find it extremely difficult. They can't say no. Even in their workplaces, maybe they have their desk filled with so much to do, but a co-worker brings something. Could you just help me with this? Right? You find them just running around to just have it done for them. They are so incapable of saying no, even when it is going to go against them. Also, these people are very tolerant of very abusive relationships. Anytime you treat them in ways that you yourself know, why did I treat this gentleman this way? They come across as though nothing has happened. They are very tolerant. They are people who can take everything negative around and not even say a word, just living with the situation and just hoping that the situation just passes by as though nothing has happened. Very, very tolerant. In relationships, they are people who have taken what they don't have to take. They are people who have been abused, but they just so get stuck in a rut within the situation, the relationship they are in, and not even make it a conscious effort to move or to change. In fact, change, they say, is difficult, but you don't want to be where things aren't rosy. You don't want to be where you are mal-handled or not treated right. You should take a second look at the situation, appraise it, and just move out of it. That is not the case for people who are living with a dependent personality disorder. As well as that, they are individuals, because they are so dependent, they quickly jump on the next relationship that is available. Once they find out that this relationship is about to end, they need someone else to depend on, and then they wouldn't wait for time to elapse to heal from the previous relationship before they jump into the next one. So these are some traits of individuals who have the dependent personality disorder. The last one we shall be looking at under the cluster C would be the obsessive compulsive personality disorder. And here are some of the traits of people who live with the obsessive compulsive disorder. Now, mind you, generally the cluster 6 folks have excessive anxiety, and then they put up fearful feelings and behaviors. So we're going to tie that anxiety and fearful feeling and behaviors to most of the things that the obsessive compulsive disorder person lives by. Right, so individuals with the Ocpd, that is the obsessive compulsive personality disorder, are people who very much come across and are so preoccupied with details, with should I say orderliness and then rules. Right, if you have friends around who would even take you on where you don't do the right thing and make you seem as though you are, excuse me to say, Satan's cousin, they're so judgmental. It means that they are trying to follow the rules to the letter. what may be that they are people with OCPD, right? So again, they are so engrossed with perfection, and then when they are unable to achieve anything that is they think ought to be perfect, it comes with a lot of distress and a lot of anxiety. Don't forget that people with the people within the cluster C, OCPD, an example, they have a lot of anxiety. Also, there are people who have the incessant need to be in control, either of people, of events, or of tasks. And when they are not in control, they don't feel very comfortable. And when they are in control, they are unable to delegate tasks to their subordinates or those who are within their circles. Why? They believe that if I give it to this or that person to do, I will not attain the perfection that I want. If you have a friend who lives with OCPD and the individual is so committed to the work, I bet you do not have a very, should I say, well-knitted relationship. This person is so committed to the work than to the social relationships around them, right? If you want a project, should I say, executed with a high level of commitment, you can consider someone who has this personality disorder. They will usually lose friends because of their strict commitment to any project, any work that they engage in. There are some of you watching me now who have your closet very filled with old clothes that you can give out. Your shoe racks are so filled with shoes that you don't wear anymore, and a whole lot of any materials that you think you should be giving out but still hold on to them. Now, people with the OCPD they are hoarders, right? They find it very difficult to give out things that they do not use again, right? They like to just keep them to themselves and maybe use a relish on the memories that it provides or affords them. Individuals with OCPD are very rigid and stubborn in the sense that they want to see good in every situations that are even quite hopeless. They want to give life to such situations. In fact, right, they are crazy lovers, but they also are unable to do things that would sustain any relationship that they are in. Again, their stubbornness also plays out when they want to have things done the way things ought to be done. I mean, like I said, they don't mind. They will take you on. They can report you to the police even if you are their closest allies, just because you are not able to do what pleases them or what ought to be done, that is according to them. OCPD folks are very inflexible about moralities, about ethics, and about values. They are so perfect that anything that doesn't go the way they believe things ought to go, no, they would bury you alive. They would just bring you down. How could you do that? You know we are not supposed to do this. Why are you supposed to be here? Oh, and you did that, you didn't have to do it. And you looked at her the way you didn't have to look at her. And you a whole lot of inflexibilities as far as morality, as far as values and ethics are concerned. You can count on them. They will take you on. Yes, they will. Last but not the least, about the features of individuals with the OCPD. These are people who are very tight. Yes, very tight everywhere, but particularly in their financial matters, their budgets are very strict, right? They want to spend the least amount doing the most gigantic stuff, right? They do not want to expend money. They are people, like I said earlier, they can hoard. So you can count on them to also hoard money and anything that they think can be scarce in no time. So they are tight. Yes, also, they are not people who are very, should I say, liberal with praises. They will hold on to the praise, right? There are times when you feel that she should be telling me that I did well, right? But no, you are not going to be told. Why? Because this person is an individual with OCPD. They are very stingy and very tight with, even with words. So here are some traits of individuals who live with OCPD. So in a runoff of things, we just want to bring to you your notice again that this has been the cluster C, the personality disorders, avoidant, dependent, and the obsessive compulsive personality disorder. All of them having their respective features, but generally they are people who come across as very anxious, and then they put across very fearful behaviors and thinking. Thank you. See you again.